Hello Earth, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mars and today we are going to hop into my October monthly wrap-up. October was all about spooky season and all about reading spooky books, so let's jump into my spooky TBR. So at the very end of September, I picked up Member of the Family by Dianne Lake from my library. And this was actually a true crime novel about Dianne's time with the Manson family. She was one of the original, or one of the first Manson girls, and this book was really just about her time with the Manson family up until the murders and even after. I really enjoyed this one. I rated it 4 stars, and that leads me into the very first book that I read for October, which was Helter Skelter, the true story of the Manson murder. So Helter Skelter is basically the story of the actual Manson murders, what actually transpired, and I feel like between reading Helter Skelter and reading Member of the Family, I was really able to get like a overall like picture of what exactly was going on and what really was happening at that time. It was very interesting, and I rated Helter Skelter 4 out of 5 stars. The next book I picked up from my library was You Love Me by Caroline Kepnes. You Love Me is the 3rd novel in the You universe, and I really wanted to pick this up and read it because the new season of You on Netflix came out on October 12th or 15th, I believe. I haven't seen it yet, I know, but I wanted to read the book first to see how it differed from the TV show. So the 3rd book, You Love Me, picks up with following Joe and his story, and because it's the 3rd book, like, I don't really want to go into too much about what it was about because I don't want to spoil anything, but basically it's just following Joe, and if you know Joe Goldberg, then you know some creepy shit is gonna go down and he's gonna be creepy. This was okay. I rated it 3 stars. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it either. It was a good time, so 3 out of 5 stars. Next, I picked up these adorable graphic novels. So the first one is Sheets, and the second one is Delicates. These were absolutely adorable. These are very much cute Halloween. They weren't really spooky. So the first one follows a young girl, Marjorie, whose mother's passed away, and they own like a little like dry cleaning business, and she's basically taken over the dry cleaning business, but she's like, I think this was middle grade. I want to say she's like 12 or 13, but she's like taken over like opening it up and working it and all of that while going to school because her dad is kind of a missing parent in this one. He's in the picture, but he's dealing with the loss of his wife, which is a struggle. And it turns out that a little ghost escapes Ghost World and finds himself in the laundromat. This was really, really, really cute, and I really did enjoy it. I rated this 5 out of 5 stars. It's on my favorite shelf. It's such a good book. The second one is called Delicates, and we're still following Marjorie in this and her little ghost friend, but we're introduced to a new character named Eliza. And Eliza is kind of the nerdy girl, weird girl, and she is like obsessed with ghost hunting and ghosts and all of that. So this follows Marjorie and Eliza and their friendship and the building of their friendship. This one, though, I will say is much more heavy than the first one. This one does have a lot of mental health in it, so do keep that in mind. Trigger warning, mental health. Still, absolutely phenomenal. I gave this one also 5 out of 5 stars. I did truly, truly, truly love these, and if you don't have them, go pick them up immediately. They're so good. So next I picked up Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell, and I know that's probably weird because it's not a spooky book at all. I picked it up because I needed a little bit of a cleanser between all of the scary books that I was reading. I didn't want to get burned out and then get into a reading slump, so I took a little bit of a break and read Fangirl. Fangirl follows 2 sisters, one who is very outgoing, very sociable, very makes friends easily, wants to go out, etc. The other sister is more laid back and reserved and is really into writing fan fiction. And it's the story of them going to, I want to say, college and living separate lives because they're not roomed together. And it's kind of the story of the one sister coming out of her shell. I gave Fangirl 3 out of 5 stars. It was cute, it was good, it wasn't like overly amazing, and it wasn't like terrible. I had a good time reading it. I gave it 3 stars. So then I picked up The Chestnut Man. This is actually a very recent like Netflix adaptation, which I watched half of the first episode and then fell asleep, and I haven't watched any of the rest of it, so I'm a little behind. But from the first like 30 minutes or so of the first episode of the Netflix show of this, absolutely phenomenal. I think the show is going to be fantastic. So The Chestnut Man is a book about a serial killer who is terrorizing Copenhagen. And basically what he does is he brutally murders someone and then like makes a little doll out of a chestnut and like matches or like toothpicks or something and like leaves it at the crime scene. It's really creepy, it's really eerie. The murder descriptions in this were very, 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 very detailed, so keep that in mind if gore kind of grosses you out, but it's so good. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. The next book that I read was actually a reread for me, and it was The Shining by Stephen King. I listened to this on audio. I picked it up from my library. It was one of those books that I read years ago. Like when I was a teenager. I read The Shining, and then I remember watching the movie because my dad specifically was like, oh, The Shining was like the most terrifying movie I've ever seen. I was terrified. And so I was like, I don't know, 15. And I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna read it and then I'm gonna watch it and I'm gonna see if it really is like the most terrifying movie ever. Unpopular opinion, I don't care for The Shining, the movie. I think it's boring. I think it's way too long. And I just don't like it. I think one of the main reasons I don't enjoy the movie is because you don't really get any backstory on The Shining, which is like the foresight that the little boy has. What is his name? Tommy? No. The Shining little boy. What is his name? Daniel! Daniel. In the movie, we don't really get much about Daniel's shine ability. It's talked about a couple of times, and then he just is very creepily acting weird, running around saying red rum, that kind of thing. The book, I like so much better. I think The Shining is one of my favorite Stephen King novels. The book The Shining is about a family who moves up to I don't want to say an abandoned hotel. It's a hotel that's open for most of the season, but they close like for winter because it's up in the mountains and it gets like really snowy and then no one can get to or from. The hotel has hired Daniel's family to watch over the hotel for the winter, and then all this crazy shit starts happening. I like the book more because we get more backstory on Daniel and his shining ability and how it plays into Jack going crazy. I gave The Shining 4 out of 5 stars. It was fantastic. I then listened to For Your Own Good by Samantha Downing. This is actually my first Samantha Downing book, and it was okay. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. I probably couldn't really tell you what exactly happened or what it really was about because there was just a lot going on. You get like 6 different points of view. I rated it 3 stars. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I was confused most of the time. Then I picked up The Witch Haven from my library again. The Witch Haven, I physically read within the last month, obviously. I'd say even within the last 2 weeks. I could not tell you what it is about. I don't remember. I don't even really remember what happened. And I think I rated it 2 stars. Then from my library, I also picked up the Southerner Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. I don't think I'm prepared for this. Probably unpopular opinion. I rated it 2 stars. I do not see the hype behind this book. I do not understand why y'all love this book so much. I was so bored. I just didn't like it. I really felt like the majority of the book was us following this lonely housewife and like her day-to-day activities of, oh, I think there's a vampire. Oh, I swear I saw a vampire. And then being gaslit by her husband, like, no, you're wrong. You didn't see anything. Let me give you this medication. I honestly could have put all of that aside had we gotten more of the vampire. I think we see the vampire, like, truly, like, as a vampire twice. 2 times, I think. Maybe 3. Y'all, I didn't like it. I gave it 2 stars. So next I picked up The Cabin at the End of the World by Paul Tremblay. I really liked this, okay? I want to say 6 pages in, or 7 pages in, it gets creepy. I was reading it and I was like, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag. What are you doing? I loved this. It was absolutely fantastic. I gave it 4 stars because I didn't love the ending. What a shocker. The ending of this, I just feel like it fell flat. I feel like it just stopped. We didn't really get closure. I didn't like that. So this book is about a 7-year-old girl and her 2 dads who are staying in a cabin in the woods, and there's a home invasion that happens. And these people who are invading in the house are like, okay, now one of you, you know, has to make a sacrifice. One of you has to make a sacrifice or the world is going to end. What? This was so good. I love that we get the point of view of Wynn, who is the 7-year-old child, We get the point of view of Eric and Andrew, her dads. And then we also get the point of view of the people who have invaded the house. This was so good. 4 out of 5 stars just because I didn't love the ending. Definitely highly recommend. I then read A Lesson in Vengeance. I rated this one 3 out of 5 stars. This was, again, it was a good time. It was okay. It's about a girl who is at like a prestigious school, and the school is like based in witchcraft, but they don't talk about it. And it was a good time. It's sapphic, which I loved. It has witches and magic, which I loved. There's some, I don't know if it's a spoiler, so I'm not gonna say. I'm just gonna stop. 3 out of 5 stars. It was good. Then I read Hide and Seeker. This is a middle grade horror novel, and this was good. I liked it. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. The reason I gave it 3 out of 5 stars is because it is a middle grade. So some of the things the characters did, I was just like, what are you doing? Or like, what are you doing, right? But then I have to remember, wait, these are like 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, not like adults. So that was the downfall to this one. But I did really enjoy the story. The story of this is so good and creepy. This is about a young man named Justin and his group of friends. One of his friends vanishes for a year, but then he comes back and he's like not right. What I mean by that is he's like hallucinating, and he's like talking in riddles and like chanting and like doing this weird crazy drawings, etc. Okay, so the friends are like, what the hell is going on? Like, what is wrong with him? And it turns out to be a very horrific game of hide and seek. It was really good. If you can get past the fact that they are middle grade characters, I highly recommend it. Just for the story alone, 3 out of 5 stars. The last book that I read, I actually just finished right before filming this video. The Haunting of Ashburn House. Okay, I have heard great things about Darcy Coates. That's why I picked this up. I have another one of her novels on my TBR. I rated this 2 stars. It was not a good time. I did not really enjoy it. The twist I thought was ridiculous. Y'all, this was not it. Did I pick up the wrong Darcy Coates? I don't know. Basically, this follows a girl named Addie who inherits her great aunt's mansion, which is in a small town located up on like a big hill, and is like every haunted house story, right? The small town is like, oh, the place is haunted, the place is haunted, the place is haunted, right? So Addie moves in, and the whole book just feels like you're in Addie's head. Okay, what I mean by that is it's very, oh, I heard a noise in the other room. I wonder what that noise was. I wonder if this place is haunted. Why does, you know, all the walls say no mirrors? It's very much like that. We spend too much time in her head. And I also feel like we have too much useless information. The plot twist wasn't really a plot twist. I was just bored. Y'all, I was just bored. Are her other books better? Because this one was not it. I rated this one 2 out of 5 stars. I gave it a 2 because some of the scenes that she describes are fantastic. The way that she sets up some of like the spooky scenes, They're so good. But this wasn't it. I didn't like it. So those are all of the books that I read for the month of October. What did you read for October? Leave me a comment down below and let me know if you read any of these or what spooky books you did read and what I should pick up next. If you made it this far into the video, leave a pumpkin emoji down below because it is Halloween. Have a safe and happy Halloween, y'all, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.